Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our 10-minute Change the Mode daily streams. Today, we are broadcasting our third episode of the week. It's a peek previews for the upcoming concert, which will be presented this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each day of this week, we have an honor to welcome to our broadcast studio a Grammy Award winner, conductor John McLaughlin Williams. John introduces musicians who will be performing this Saturday for your attention. Can't wait to hear more insights from you and your guests, John. This is so great to have you again back in our broadcast studio. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here again. It's my pleasure, my distinct pleasure, really, actually, to be a part of this. I'm really just loving this. It's welcome to another of our week-long series of quick previews of the amazing artists that are part of the Momentum Artist stable and part of a new endeavor of Momentum Artists called Music to Meeting, which seeks to bring live performances and team building activities into businesses around the country and indeed around the world. We'll talk a bit more about that later. Of course, musicians are experts at collaborative efforts, and team building is an essential part of playing music. So I think that the lessons extrapolated from just talking to these amazing musicians will be valuable and palpable to all who listen. So today, our first guest, well, only guest that I know about, wink, wink, is Mark Berman. Mark Berman, welcome.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Mark Berman, this is a guy, wow, he's done so many things. But, it's amazing how one single thing you do can overshadow, in a way, all the many other amazing things that one has done. I mean, you've collaborated with artists across genres like Aretha, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Clark Terry. You've written music for shows like Sex and the City and Nurse Jackie. But I think most people might know you lately from having seen you on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. That's pretty amazing, I have to say.
Oh man, a lot of 4:30 a.m. calls, and then a lot of waiting around. It was mostly waiting around,
So you'd
but
say it was a rather spontaneous thing? It was spur of the moment?
it was. Sometimes they would call, and we knew that we would get a call like sometime during the week, and they'd say, okay, it's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday, or Wednesday through Friday, and sometimes the night before, all of a sudden it's like, okay, be here at 4:30 a.m. and all that for when after the editing and the film is on the floor, so to speak. You go, wait, where's Mark? Where's Mark? Oh, it's like, where's Waldo?
That's terrific. That's really interesting because it doesn't look that way on the screen at all. It seems so perfectly planned and poised. But I was, because I met you before, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm looking at the show, and there you pop up. I know that guy. So
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing. So you probably you made more fans in those appearances than, well, the power of movies and TV. But once again, that does overshadow so many things you've done. You're a composer, you're an arranger, you're a producer as well as pianist. And you've done and written so many things, including one project that I thought was quite fascinating, which was your Genesis project. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It's funny. I started writing it when I was 15. It took me, many, many decades to finish it. No, I put it on it at, I think I wrote two or three of the songs then. I knew like three chords, and I was like, trying to make those happen. But then the same temple that I wrote it for, that I grew up in, and I'm not religious at all, blah blah blah. But they're very spiritual, and they're great.
Tell me, were you at all influenced by that 1945 collaborative work called the Genesis Suite that seven of the great composers at the time each wrote a movement for? Stravinsky, Ernst Haug,
Oh,
Castronovo
right.
Tedesco, Darius Milhaud. Do you know about that? Was that an
You,
influence at all?
you know what? I didn't know it at the time, but then somebody pointed that out to me, and I listened to some of those things like Stravinsky and another composer that I can't remember.
Nathaniel Shilkret. There were several. Yeah, that's so.
Oh yeah. I'd like to go back and really study that because that would. I'm feeling.
I was
like
just curious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I would be too intimidated.
No. Well, I'm really looking forward to that coming out, and I hope you'll let us know when it's available in toto. So, but in the meantime, I think this would be a great time to have you share some of your music with us. You feel like playing a piece for us?
Sure. Yeah. I finally decided this morning like what I'll play. It was between a few tunes, and I was like, well, what would be nice? And I think I haven't played this tune in a long time, but we'll see what happens. I practiced some today, so.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to adjust my little mixer a little bit according to Fran.
Hey, wait, where's Waldo?
Here. I'm even dressed like him.
Fantastic. Bravo. Beautiful. I love how you just drop those fat dewdrop chords, kind of like Chick Corea. It's fantastic. Really, that's just lovely to hear. Thank you very much for that. That's just wonderful. Mark Berman, really. Well, actually, I kind of gave it away in the beginning of the show, but Mark, if you give me a second here, we have a surprise guest. And at this point, I would love to bring on the program Judy Carmichael. Judy, you out there?
Yay, Mark! Yay, I get to applaud. I'm giving him a sitting ovation. I loved it.
Oh, it was fantastic. I got to say a couple words about Judy Carmichael. Judy Carmichael is a Grammy-nominated pianist. She is probably the foremost exponent of stride piano in the country today. She's played all over, and she has hosted for years a show called Jazz Inspired, where she interviews famous musicians and actors and people in artistic disciplines. And she's just completely fabulous in every aspect. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm part of the team. Very excited.
Indeed. The Music to Meeting team incorporates quite a variety of artists, once again, across the genres and whatnot. So tell me something very quickly. What did you find interesting about Music to Meeting that made you want to join it?
The whole idea of it and bringing this disparate group of musicians and international musicians, which I think is fabulous, classical, jazz, all the different things. I think that's wonderful. And I loved you were talking to someone a couple of days ago that I tuned in on about the team building of musicians. And I know I talk about that all the time with master classes. And one of the things, you may not even know this statistic, I love to toss this around, that we always talk about musicians being great listeners. And if ever there was a time that we needed more listening in the world, it's now. And musicians have 65% less hearing loss as they age. I read a medical study on this that someone sent me. I thought that was fascinating. And it's because musicians are better listeners, because we can discriminate timbre, we can shut out background noise. People always think of listening or hearing as the level of sound, but it has all those other elements. Now they're doing studies with teaching people that are losing their hearing, having them take up an instrument to see if that will actually help stop that.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that 65% less hearing loss? That's a huge statistic.
I had no idea. That's that's something that people in orchestras need to know about, particularly the ones that are sitting in front of the brass section when they're playing a Bruckner or a Mahler symphony. Yes.
That's another thing. Yeah, don't talk to the trumpet section that's sitting next to the big band drummer. That's a different thing.
No, but I can certainly see that. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, yeah. Well, Music to Meeting is such an amazing concept in the music and business world, and it's something that we really hope to bring to businesses all around the country. A couple of aspects about it that you're going to be a part of is our live performances, and as I said, team building activities. You will have interactions with these artists from their lovely homes, as we are seeing Judy right now, and as we have seen Mark. Indeed, the technology allows us to have an unlimited number of participants. There's no limit on how many people can do this, and will be available across time zones. And once again, I can't emphasize enough the team building aspect of this, which is something that has been perfected by musicians because of the necessity of ensemble collaboration. And of course, Judy, you've been a band leader. You are an expert in that as well. So, I've heard your stuff. I wish you were going to play today, but I know I'll get to. Yes, indeed. I love stride. It's
Thank you.
Has anyone ever called you the lioness?
Oh, hey, I like that. Nobody ever has. I like that a lot. Like
yeah, I can
Willie
see
the
that.
Lion.
Yeah,
like
Judy the Lioness Carmichael. I think it's something to that.
I do. I like it a lot.
Well, let's bring Mark back in here now. Mark, I know that you're familiar with Judy's work.
Oh my God, yeah. Judy is fantastic. I mean,
Thank you, Mark. I'm your fan.
I'm a bigger fan. Judy, I mean, it blows me away how. First of all, John, you're a genius. I love your interviews, and I feel honored just to be in the company of you guys. Seriously.
Me too.
No, the feeling is in that famous movie. It's mutual, right?
Yes.
Mutual. Yeah. What was your question?
No, I was just saying that I know you know of her work, and basically
yeah.
I was leading to saying that I really hope there's going to be a collaboration between you two. I think that the
Yes.
juxtaposition of
I-
styles here would be something for people to really listen to. So,
I'd be honored.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
And Judy has this unique ability in aside from being like the world class pianist, she is an amazing interviewer, and I love also her interviews. I mean, they're like
Oh, thank
they're
you.
It's true.
penmanship. I keep on listening. It's like what?
Believe me, if we had more time, we'd turn this around. We'd have her interview us. But
Thank
actually,
you, guys.
we've run out of time. I want to thank Mark Berman and Judy Carmichael for being here, and I want to thank Momentum Artists and Music to Meeting. Once again, this is one of our week-long previews, and I hope I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks to all our great artists, and I hope you've enjoyed this little clue into what's going to happen. We're going to have a concert on August 1st where all of the artists are going to play, and we hope you'll be there. More about that later. Take care.